A very good evening to all my dear students. So, students, welcome to today's session, which is the last session, and whereby we will be completing chapter number 11, which is ethics and terms of audit engagement. And I hope that the way we discussed in the class, that you are required to go through the module, you are required to, do the test your understanding questions. I hope, I expect that you all have done that. So I can see that many of you have already have already joined. Bala, Insia, Aditi, Divya, Pooja, Shamli, a very good evening to all my dear students. So students, today we are on the verge of completion of the syllabus and chapter number 11, whereby in the last class we have started with the topic audit quality, right? So if you all remember, so I'll do one thing without wasting the time. I'll straightforward start with SQC1 and SC220, because today we have to, discuss the various MCQs, the case study that is given in your module. So quickly starting with SQC1. So in the last class, I told you as to how to learn the name of SQC1, and the name in itself explains a number of concepts related to SQC1. So basically, it is related to what? Quality control. For what? For firms that perform four things: audit, review of historical financial information. And I told you in the last session that audit and review is always with respect to historical financial information. And then other assurance and related service engagement, right? And basically, SQC1 is for what? For the firm, for the audit firm to establish the policies and procedures so that the personals within the firm, be it engagement partner, be it articled assistant, everyone, that is the personals within the firm, they are able to, comply with the professional standards, regulatory and legal requirements, and the report that is issued after the end of any of the assignment is appropriate as required in the circumstances, right? So SQC1 deals with the responsibilities of the firm, and SA220, if you remember, that pertains to particular audit engagement. And in our last class, in fact, I have shown it to you from the module. So in our last class, we have seen that SA220, the name of SA220 is what? Quality control for an audit of financial statements. So it signifies, the name signifies that quality control is there, but with respect to what? Audit. So here we are not talking about review or assurance assignments. And here, if you will see, as in when we'll study, we'll see that SA220 is particularly with respect to a particular audit engagement and the responsibility of the engagement partner, right? So first of all, let us complete SQC1. So it says that every firm, audit firm, should have a system of quality control. So what is the purpose of SQC1 and SA220? That the work that is delivered by the audit firm to the client organization, the quality should be maintained, right? So SQC1 says that every audit firm, they should have a system of quality control, right? And various elements, and in fact 6 elements of system of quality control are given by SQC1, which are what? Leadership responsibilities for quality within the firm, ethical requirements, acceptance and continuance of client relationship, human resources, then engagement performance, and last but not the least is what? Your monitoring. Okay, we will be doing all these one by one. And whatever are these whatever are the policies and procedures, this PP is basically what? Policies and procedures relating to the above elements, these should be documented and these should be communicated to the firm's personnel. See, ultimately the person who are working in the audit firm, they are responsible for maintaining the quality of their work. So unless and until all the above policies and procedures are communicated, and for communication they need to be documented, right? So they cannot follow such policies and procedures, so these need to be documented as well as communicated. Also, SQC1 requires that the firm should obtain feedback from the personnel on the quality control, right? The personals, they should be able to communicate their views and any concerning matter on the quality control to the firm so that appropriate action should be there, right? So basically two-way communication is required. One, whereby the policies and procedures which are documented by the firm, they should be communicated to the firm's personnel. The feedback of the firm's personnel relevant to quality control should be taken, whereby they are able to give their views and their concerns, right? Is it clear? Now let us start discussing all these elements one by one. First was what? Leadership responsibilities for quality within the firm, right? So students, just tell me, ultimately it is whose responsibility to maintain the quality of the audit work of the entire firm? So I'm not talking about any particular audit engagement. I'm saying that, let's say ABC and Associates is a CA firm. It is an audit firm. So just try to think overall whose responsibility will it be to maintain the quality of the audit firm, or let's say to communicate that yes, quality is important to its personnel. Whose responsibility do you think it is? So Shamni is saying it is that of the auditor. Adil is saying CA. Sham Sundar is saying auditor. Divya is saying auditors. Others also please reply. Pooja is saying auditor. Others also please reply. Yes, Archana is saying firm top management. So basically, see what we are discussing. We are discussing about the systems of quality control. So the most important system of quality control is what? The leader, right? See, suppose there is a group and there is one leader. Unless and until that leader is specific that yes, quality need to be maintained, highest quality need to be given, the team will not get motivated unless and until the leader is motivated and he motivates his team further, right? So that is why the first point is leadership responsibilities for quality within the firm. So first of all, it says that the firm is responsible for establishing the policies and procedures that promote an internal culture. So there should be a culture whereby the message that is given to all the personnel is that quality is essential in performing the engagement, right? So it should not happen that any rules and regulations, any policies and procedures are there, and if these are not followed, still the assignment is considered to be complete. No, this should not happen. So the internal culture should be such that it should give a message to the personnel that yes, the quality is essential, right? And the ultimate responsibility for that is that lies with the firm CEO or the firm's managing partner. It lies with them. The ultimate responsibility. It lies with the firm's management or the firm's CEO, right? And students, see, these firms management or firm CEO, they should set an example for the entire firm that yes, see, quality is utmost important, right? And see, the firm's managing partner or the firm CEO is not going to do the work all alone, right? So the persons who are assigned the duties, they should have what? Sufficient and appropriate experience. Sorry, just a minute. They should have what? Sufficient and appropriate experience, ability, and necessary action, necessary authority to assume the responsibility, right? So this particular point, it says that first of all, the firm should establish the policies and procedures which promote an internal control culture, which says that yes, the quality is essential in performing an engagement. First is this. Second point is related to that the firm CEO and managing partner, they have the ultimate responsibility and they should set an example that yes, quality is essential. So first point related to firm, second point related to what? Ultimate responsibility of firm CEO and firm managing partner, right? And the third point says that persons who are assigned the duties by these firm CEO or the managing partner, those persons should have the sufficient appropriate experience, ability, and necessary authority to assume the responsibility. So you all know that responsibility can be, complied with if and only if you have the necessary authority, right? Now, let us just have a look at your module as to how it is given in your module. So, are you all able to see this point on page number 11.26? I hope my PDF, my module page is visible to all of you. Page number 70, this is 11.26 and point is 17A. Please tell me, are you able to view it? Yes, ma'am. Okay. See, now why I am reading this from your module also, because I want you all to know how to learn, how to understand, how to learn these points from your examination point of view. Now, if you just see that, if you have to, let's say, understand and learn this leadership responsibilities point. So it is divided into three parts. First, related to firm. Second, related to the firm CEO or the managing partner. And the third, related to the persons who are assigned the duty, right? So how will you see, how will you mark that? So first is your firms, right? Then your executive, firm's executive or your managing partner. So basically it says firm's CEO, right? And important keyword here is ultimate responsibility, right? And the third point, and another important keyword is what? They should set an example, right? And then it is with respect to what? The persons assigned with operational responsibilities, right? Right? So first point relating to firm, that the firm should have an what? Another important keyword is what? Your internal culture, whereby it is given the recognition that quality is essential in performing an engagement, right? Apart from this, firm CEO and managing partners, they have the ultimate responsibility and they should set the example for the firm's leadership, right? Apart from this, persons assigned the operational duties, they should have what? Another important, you can say keywords here will be what? That they should have sufficient appropriate experience, ability, and the necessary authority. Okay. So are you all able to understand that even if you do not make notes, you are highlighting in your module, this is the way you should do, right? And here, maybe I'm not able to write on my Word file, but on my PDF, but see how you can write is firm, then CEO and managing partner, right? And the last is person having the operational responsibilities. So this is the way you can make your notes. And then firm may, the keyword is what? They should have an internal culture, right? And CEO and ISME, what is the keywords? Ultimate responsibility plus example set. And here, what is the keywords? Person with operation responsibility, they should have what? Authority, ability, and all those words. Okay? So are you all able to understand as to how to understand as well as how to prepare for the exams? See, students, Aditi and other students also, please don't get confused. Here we are talking about the audit firm, that they are responsible to maintain the quality of the audit. We are not talking about the responsibility of the client company. client organization. We are saying, we see, this is the last chapter in your uh, intermediate syllabus, and this is with respect to what? Your audit engagement, the ethics and in terms of audit engagement. And SQC 1 says that yes, after everything has been done, let's say audit procedures, audit evidence, assembly of audit file, audit documentation, now it says that quality should be maintained. And how to maintain? See, it will Yeah, sure. So students, there was some technical glitch. So I hope now I'm visible to all of you and now I am audible. So I was discussing about one of the doubt of a student whereby it was asked that whether it is the firm's responsibility or the client organization responsibility. So I was saying that here we are talking about the audit, which is to be done by the audit firm. So the quality of that audit can be maintained, or any assignment which has been done by the audit firm, it will be maintained by the firm itself, right? So Aditi, is it clear? Whatever we are discussing with respect to the responsibilities of the firm. And firm here means the audit firm which is conducting the audit or doing any other assignment. So SQC 1 may other assignments are also included, like your review work, your assurance services, right? So whoever is doing the practicing accounting or the firm, so that is responsible for, establishing the policies and procedures. So Aditi, is your doubt clear? Aditi is saying that I got confused because of the term CEO. So CEO or the managing partner, we are talking about your audit firm, not the company. Okay, is it clear now? And also tell me whether the way how to, um, understand and prepare from the examination point of view, the way I have highlighted the point 17 point A, is it clear? Are you able to understand how to prepare? Students, please reply. Aditi is saying yes. Others also please reply. Divya is saying yes. ठीक है. ठीक है. So this was with respect to your first point, which was relating to leadership responsibilities, right? Then the second point is with respect to ethical requirements. And now, without looking at the module, or I can say without looking at the screen, just tell me what all comes to your mind when I ask you about ethical requirements. What all is included in that? Because we have done this topic ethics, है ना, like in our earlier sessions. So I was about to tell you the keywords, but I stopped myself. So yes, Virali, I will do that. Yes, Aditi is saying that when I have asked you all about the term ethical requirements, so two terms that comes to her mind that are coming to her mind is integrity and independence. Pooja is saying honest. Then Pooja is also saying independence. Others also please reply. So, independence, integrity, objectivity, Adil is saying absolutely correct. So, students, when we are talking about ethical requirements, see, just try to correlate. Unless and until the leader is, he maintains that quality is important, quality cannot be maintained. Second point, unless and until the ethical requirements are maintained, quality cannot be maintained, right? Unless and until the ethical requirements are met. Ethical requirements like what? Your independence. Fundamental principles like we have studied in the earlier class: integrity, objectivity, professional competence, due care, confidentiality, and professional behavior, right? And since we are studying about SQC1, so SQC1 always talks about what? The firm. So, and in fact, in the last class also, I have told you that the language that is used in SQC1 is what? The firm should establish policies and procedures, right? This is the first line of all the elements of system of quality control. So the firm should establish the system of the policies and procedure that provide reasonable assurance that the firm as well as all the personals in the firm, they comply with the relevant ethical requirements as required by the code of ethics. Simple. Okay? It is the responsibility of the firm to establish the policies and procedures, which is going to provide what? Reasonable assurance to whom? To client? No, to the firm. Because here we are talking about how the, what is the responsibility of the firm with respect to the audit quality, right? Then you all know that under ethical requirement, your fundamental principles will come like integrity, objectivity, professional competence, you care, confidentiality, and professional behavior. And another important thing is what? Your independence. Okay? So whatever are the policies and procedures with respect to the ethical requirements, see, unless and until, again, the same thing, unless and until these are communicated to the personals, it cannot be complied with, right? So such policies and procedures should enable the firm to communicate the independence requirement to its personnel. That, see, if you need to be independent, you cannot hold shares of the client organization. You cannot give loan to the client organization. So such policies, such procedures, these should be what? Communicated to the personnel, right? And in case any threat to independence is there, any kind of threat, right? So first of all, those should be identified and evaluated. Then there should be what? Appropriate action taken by the firm to eliminate or reduce that threat, or safeguard should be applied, and if nothing is possible, withdrawal from the engagement, right? See, if let's say the engagement partner is having self-interest threat in the client organization, so will he be in a position to deliver quality service? Answer is no, right? And let's say all the partners have some kind of interest in that organization, so will the firm be able to deliver the quality service? No. So that is why it says that if nothing is possible, then withdraw from the engagement, right? So here what we have seen that the policies and procedures should be communicated to the personnel, and in case the firm is able to identify any of the threats, the same should be evaluated, appropriate action should be taken, it should be eliminated, reduced in order to reduce the threat, and safeguard should be applied. If not possible, withdrawal from the engagement, right? The second point says that first point was with respect to communication by the firm to its personnel. That see, these are the ethical requirements. The second point that we are just going to study, this is with respect to what? That the second way of communication, that is the personnel should be able to notify the firm on an immediate or prompt basis, right? Prompt is what? Immediately they should be able to tell the firm. So firms, it means to, let's say, the managing partner that see, we are not, I am not independent, or such kind of procedure should be there. So the second point says that there should be a mechanism which says that the engagement partner should provide the firm with the relevant information about the client engagement and personnel of the firm, and they should promptly notify. Promptly is what? Quickly, right? Why? So that immediate steps can be taken, right? So that immediate steps can be taken, and in case there is any threat to independence, appropriate action can be taken, right? And SQC1 says, in order to facilitate this, that that the firm is communicating to its personnel about the ethical requirement, and vice versa. That is, the personnels are communicating to the firm that they are able to notify the firm promptly. In order to, in order to uh, help in that process, at least annually, the firm should obtain written confirmation of compliance from the personnel. That annually they should be required, all the personnels are required to give a written confirmation to the firm that whatever are the firm's policies and procedures with respect to ethical requirements, with respect to independence, whether they are complying with that or not, right? Are you able to understand? So this independence point, this ethical requirement points may, appear to be very lengthy to you, but see, it simply says, if I just summarize it, it basically says that the firm should have what? Policies and procedures which provide a reasonable assurance that the firm and its personnel, they comply with what? The ethical requirement. Okay, is it clear? Right? Then it say how the paragraph proceeds further. Then it defines the ethical requirement, whereby the fundamental principles are given and your independence requirement is given, right? Then this particular point talks about two-way communication. That is what? That the firm should communicate the ethical requirement so that adequate steps can be taken. Remember, see here, this point where I put arrow, right? And withdrawal can be there if it is required. And the next point says that what? There should be a mechanism whereby the engagement partner is promptly communicated to the client to the firm, that is the managing partner, about any such threat to independence so that appropriate action can be taken. And lastly, it says that at least annually, what should be there? There should be a written confirmation from the client, from the personals, right? So if, I have to register it for my examination point of view, understanding, let's say understanding is done, right? How I'll remember it? That with respect to ethical requirements, more, there were 4 points, 4 major points. First point said as to whose responsibility it is. So the firm should establish the policies and procedures so that, which gives a reasonable assurance that firm and the personnel, they comply with the ethical requirements. Ethical requirements connected are 2 points: fundamental principles, that is integrity, confidentiality, 5 principles, then independence. Then I'll tell myself that, Nancy, then the second point was with respect to communication by the firm to its personnel with respect to the ethical requirements, and what all actions can be taken, threats can be removed, withdrawal if required, or safeguards withdrawal. So these are the keywords, right? Then I'll tell myself that the third point was with respect to communication by the engagement partner. So there should exist a mechanism whereby the engagement partner can promptly notify the firm if any, with respect to any threat to independence or ethical requirement, so that again, same thing, appropriate action can be taken, right? So in order to ensure that the independence requirements are met. And then I'll tell myself that the fourth point was with respect to what? At least annually, the firm should obtain written confirmation from the personnel with respect to compliance with the policies and procedures on ethical requirements, right? Tell me, are you able to register the entire flow of ethical requirements in your mind for the time being? Maybe for learning, it will require, as I always say, reading it from your module in entirety once or twice. But are you able to, is your mind able to simplify or just draw a picture that leadership may there were three main points: firm, ultimate responsibility, and the persons with operational responsibility, right? And this ethical requirement has 4 points, right? Are you able to understand? Are you able to understand? Okay, so that's good. Archana is saying yes, Pooja saying yes, Shamli, Adil, Aditi, everyone is saying yes. And Aditi, yes, if the firm is not meeting these ethical requirements, then there is disciplinary committee by ICAI and other things which you are going to study in your uh, advanced auditing in your finals. So there you will study that, yes, ICAI is there to look after all these things, right? Clear, Aditi? So it's good that you all guys are able to understand as to how to prepare for exams also, right? So abhi tak we have studied 2 points. One is related to what leadership responsibilities for quality within the firm, and the second point is relating to the ethical requirement. Then the third point is relating to what your acceptance and continuance of client relationships and specific engagement. So now tell me why acceptance and continuance, two words are given here. Quickly tell me. See, I know this is a very easy question, but I want to test whether you remember what I have taught you in the last class. Acceptance and continuance. What is the relevance of these 2 points? Yes, Pooja, absolutely correct. Students, please reply why acceptance. So basically acceptance. So let's say if you are accepting a new client's assignment, right? And continuance, let's say you were conducting the audit last year also, this year also recurring audit is there, right? So whether to continue or not, whether to accept the assignment of a new client, or whether to continue the assignment of the existing client. Okay, so see, the quality of the work depends upon this factor also, right? So why? Because see, let's say the client organization is the company that is engaged in, let's say they are using the money for some terrorist activity. They are involved in some money laundering. So when you're going to conduct the audit of that organization, chances are there that quality will not be there. And chances are there you'll not get the audit, you'll not get the required information. And maybe let's say you find out that these are involved in so and so activities, maybe you're not able to give any opinion on that, right? So with respect to acceptance and continuance of client relationship, let's say in the last year you were conducting the audit of the client organization and they did not provide you with the relevant information that was required. So will you continue with that client organization this year also? Maybe no. Why? Because you know that unless and until the information that is required by the auditor is given, the audit cannot be conducted with with quality, right? So before accepting or continuing any client organization, the vital, that is important information should be obtained. By whom? SQC1 says by the firm. And students, see, whatever we are studying here, as it is, you are going to study in essay 220, except for few changes. But there it will be the engagement partner. Okay? So be smart learners. Devote your energy in understanding SQC1 in detail. Then if you are clear with these points here, SC 220 is going to be very easy, a cakewalk for all of you. Okay? So SQC 1 says that the firm should acquire the vital information with respect to three things. What? Integrity of client, whether the client is honest or not. Competence. So whether, just a minute. Competence of the firm. So whatever competence, time and resources is required by the audit firm, whether that is there or not, and then the compliance with the ethical requirements. Okay? So with respect to acceptance and continuance of client relationship, the firm should acquire vital information like what? Integrity of client, competence, capability, the time, resources that is required with that particular client, whether the audit firm is having that or not, and the compliance with the ethical requirement, right? And when are they going to, get all that information? Before accepting the engagement with new client, and when deciding whether to continue the existing engagement, right? Is it clear? And let's say any issue was there when they were obtaining all these information. Let's say ethical compliance was not there, but later on it was resolved. So they will document how the same was resolved, right? Is it clear? Simple. आईटी क्या प्रॉब्लम आ रहा है?
Ma'am, your internet not stable.
मेरे इंटरनेट में प्रॉब्लम है?
Yeah,
चलो, नाउ वेदर आई एम कनेक्टेड?
yeah, yeah.
ठीक है. So students, there is some technical glitch. I'll just check it. So we were discussing about client integrity. So SQC1 also tells as to what all information the audit firm should obtain with respect to the client integrity. So what can be these points? These can be identity and business reputation of the client, right? Like who are the principal owners? Let's say any uh, the person who is a principal owner, let's say he's a willful defaulter. Right now, you all have studied chapter number 5, audit of items of financial statement. You all are clear about what an willful defaulter is, right? The related parties, those charged with governance, right? The nature of clients, operations, and business practices, right? The attitude of the those charged with governance with respect to what? The internal control environment, aggressive interpretation of accounting standards, how they are interpreting the accounting standards, how they are, applying the applicable financial reporting framework, right? Whether the client is aggressively concerned in keeping the firm's fees low. Why? Let's say the client is saying that, see, let's say it is discussing the fees with the audit firm, and the client is saying, see, we cannot give more than 1 lakhs, we cannot give more than so and so amount. So see, if less fees will be given, less work will be done within that time period. So what is the intention? Why they want to keep a lower fees, right? Whether any inappropriate limitation is there on the scope of work, right? Whether the client is engaged in any criminal activity or money laundering, right? And if you remember, we have discussed in the last class also, what are the reasons of the proposed appointment of the firm or non-appointment of the previous firm. See, if my firm is appointed this time, this implies that the previous firm is not appointed here. So what is the reason? So proposed appointment of firm means proposed appointment of my firm for the audit of this year, and non-reappointment of previous firm. The previous firm was not reappointed. That is why I am appointed. What is the reason? Okay? And in case of any conflict of interest, the same should be resolved before accepting the engagement, right? And auditor, after considering the client integrity, the audit firm should see what are the, let's say they get any information. Let's say they have accepted the client audit work, right? Later on, they get any information. And if they would have obtained that information earlier, they would have declined the engagement. If they would have obtained the information earlier, right? But the information is received just now after accepting the engagement, then what are the legal and professional responsibilities? What are the requirements to report to who all authorities the reporting should be there, and whether they need to withdraw from the engagement or the client relationship. So why are these 2 points given from the engagement of client relationship? See, client relationship means that you're not, let's say you are the auditor of ABC company, and you are conducting the audit of that company. So let's say you need to withdraw from that particular engagement, or and let's consider different example also, that you are the auditor of ABC company and you are doing certain work that is permitted by section 144 of the Companies Act, right? So whether to withdraw from that particular engagement only, or to withdraw from the entire relationship with that client, that we will not do any work related to ABC company. Okay? Are you all able to understand? So again, this point may appear to be lengthy, but if you just, revise it, you will see that 2 or 3 points are there in which this entire point can be summarized. Like what? That first of all, firm should acquire what? Vital information with respect to 3 things: integrity of client, competence, capability, time, resources required for engagement performance, and compliance with ethical requirement. So when should this information be taken? Obviously, before accepting any new engagement or before deciding as to whether to continue with the existing client, right? In case of any issue that has been identified, and you have resolved that, the same should be documented, right? Then second point is what is client with respect to client integrity, what all information can be obtained. And this is very general information. Who all are the, principal owners, the identity and their business reputation, nature of client's operation, right? So whether they are aggressively concerned in lowering the firm's fees, what is their, nature of business practice, then inappropriate limitation on scope of work, reasons why you are appointed and the previous firm is not appointed. In case of any conflict of interest, the same should be resolved. And that last but not the least, in case you get any information which if you would have obtained it earlier, you would have declined the assignment, then what are the professional legal requirements, whether to withdraw from that particular engagement or the client relationship. That's it. Okay? Tell me, is it clear? So we have covered 3 points. First is leadership responsibilities, second ethical requirements, and then third is with respect to acceptance and continuance of client relationship. Students, quickly, I need answers from you all. Whether you have Aditi, I'll do that. So Divya is saying clear, Shamli is saying clear, Adil is saying clear. That's good. Others also please reply. Aditi is saying got it. Archana is saying yes, ma'am, clear. And Aditi, thank you. She's saying great explanation. So that's good. So students, not your understanding should be clear here, but you should be able to understand as to how to prepare also, right? Now, if I have to revise, now I know that with respect to leadership, I had 3 points. One related to firm, one related to ultimate responsibility of firm CEO managing partner, and the last related to persons with operational responsibility. With respect to ethical requirements, I had 4 points. That is what, just a minute, let me just take you through that also. So that is what, that firm to establish policies and procedures so that reasonable assurance is achieved that firm and the personnel, they comply with what ethical requirements. So ethical requirements, you all know, fundamental principles and the independence. Then communication two-way. So as such, you are not required to write that two-way communication should be there. So this is just to remember. So what is the communication point? That the firm should communicate to the personnel its compliance requirement so that appropriate action can be taken. Any threat is identified, it can be evaluated, safeguards, withdrawal, all these points. Then the engagement partner, so mechanism, they should exist a mechanism whereby engagement partner can promptly notify the firm about any of the breaches to independence requirements so that again what action can be taken, right? So as to ensure independence requirements. And lastly, annually the firm should obtain written confirmation, right? Acceptance and continuance with 3 points: integrity of line, competence, and compliance with ethical requirements, and when it should be done, before accepting or before continuing. And then if any conflict is there, the same should, any issue was identified, the same should be documented how the same was resolved. And then client integrity point. Is it clear? Then the next point is, see, the quality of the firm will also depend upon the human resources that the audit firm is having, right? So whatever kinds of human resources, whether the capabilities, whether the competence, whether the commitment to the ethical principles with respect to the personnel, whether it is there or not, right? Why? See, unless and until the client, the audit firm is having the relevant, human resources to do the work, the quality cannot be maintained, right? And in human resources, other things like recruitment, compensation, training, pre-evaluation, all these things will also come. Personality development, your professional development of the firm's personnel. So whatever are the HR policies of any, company, all those points will come. Compensation, recruitment. See, unless and until the audit firm staff is satisfied with their HR policies, they cannot deliver quality work. As simple as that, right? And if the audit firm is having the appropriate human resources, so it will enable the firm and engagement partner to issue the report as is appropriate, to follow the professional and legal standards or the legal requirements as are required. As simple as that. Human resource point is really very simple, right? So we will do one thing. We will just read it from the module. So I am on page number 11.29 of your module. So it says that, again, see, I've told you, be smart learners. So the language that is used by SQC1 is what? The firm should establish what? PP, policies and procedures. So you are not required to write PP, you are required to write what? Policies and procedures. For what? So that reasonable assurance is obtained. This is common in all 6 points, if you'll see. Okay? So be smart learners. What reasonable assurance? That sufficient personnel is there. Sufficient personnel with what? The capabilities, competence, CCC, and commitment to ethical principles. Okay? So that what is this going to help? This is going to help the firm to perform the engagement in accordance with professional standards, regulatory and legal requirements, and to issue the report which is appropriate in the circumstances. Okay? And such policies and procedure should address the various HR issues like your recruitment, compensation, training, career development, performance evaluation. Along with that, there should be what? PD. So it is what? Professional development. So is this point clear to all of you? And are you all able to understand as to how to use your module, which is beautifully written, which gives each and every detail in a very good manner, but yes, it is not possible to, cram the words, the lines or the chapters word by word. So try to focus on keywords. Please reply whether it is clear or not. Okay. So the fourth point was human resources, and then the fifth point, which is related to what your engagement performance. Engagement performance. So it says that, see, SQC1, what we are discussing, we are saying that SQC1 says that the firm should establish the policies and procedures with respect to system of quality control, and the elements, there are 6 elements of quality system of quality control. One is leadership responsibilities, then ethical requirement. Then your third point is relating to your acceptance and continuance of client relationship as specific engagements, and the fourth one was human resources. Okay, and I hope you're able to relate that all those 4 points will help the audit firm to achieve what, the quality of the work, right? Now when we are saying the quality of that engagement, so our next point is engagement performance, how the engagement is performed, whether the consultation of any expert, if required, was taken or not. Let's say on any matter, let's say with respect to, let's say you're conducting the audit of any insurance company, and any calculation is required that is done by the actuarial persons, right? Now, let's say you want to take the advice of that expert, the actuarials, whether that was taken or not. Okay? Because if anything is there which is not in the expertise area of the auditor, external advice should be taken, because that is going to help in improving the quality of the work, right? Then the significant judgments that were taken during the course of audit with respect to, let's say, various clients, whatever are there, right? Whether they are reviewed by engagement quality control reviewer. So a new word that comes here is what? Engagement quality control reviewer. So many of you, and if I remember, Aditi has asked me a question that, ma'am, how to check whether the audit firm is maintaining the quality. So there is a concept of engagement quality control reviewer. Engagement quality control reviewer. So it says that with respect to a particular engagement, there will be a reviewer who is going to review what? The quality of the audit work, right? So it is the response, and students, it is mandatory in case of the listed, wherever the audit is related to the listed companies. In that case, that particular engagement will be, the audit work of that particular audit engagement will be reviewed by the engagement quality control reviewer, and it is the responsibility of the engagement partner to see whether the engagement quality control reviewer has been appointed or not, right? Now it says that, whatever I have told you just now, that it is the responsibility of the engagement partner to see whether engagement control quality control reviewer has been appointed or not, we are going to study that in essay 220. So what SQC1 says, it simply says that, first of all, consultation is, if required, that should be taken. Okay? Then it says that any significant judgment that has been made, that should be reviewed by the engagement quality control reviewer, right? And then it also says that in case difference of opinion is there, let's say engagement partner is saying something else, the engagement quality control reviewer is saying something else, then the firm should have the policies and procedures to resolve that matter also, right? And one point I missed, the first point, which says that engagement performance, with respect to that, they should be briefing to the engagement teams about the objectives of the firm, the processes that needs to be followed, the methods, the documentation of the work that should be there, right? So basically it says that when the engagement is been performed, so Abhi, I'm just giving a brief overview as to what is there in engagement performance. We are going to do it one by one, the points one by one. So it basically says that with respect to the engagement performance, again, the firm should establish what the policies and procedures to ensure that there should be consistency in the quality of engagement performance, right? So consistently, there should be what quality among all the engagement performances, be it compared to earlier years or be it compared to different assignments. Okay? And it can be achieved through various things like briefing. Briefing is what? When the personals are told by the firm that, see, our objective of conducting the assignments or conducting the audit is so and so. Our process is so. So, for example, the team is briefed. They are told that when you are conducting the audit, you need to comply with the standards. Okay? The supervision, the training of the staff should be there. What are the methods of reviewing the work performance? What are the how the documentation of the work is to be done, right? So all these things are what with respect to engagement performance, and you will see that SA 220 focuses on these three things. How we will see later on. Okay? Then also engagement performance includes what? Whether consultation with respect to difficult and contentious matters. Contentious is what? Difficult, complex matters, whether that was taken or not, wherever specialized expertise is required, right? Whether the significant judgments are reviewed by the engagement quality control reviewer. And see, any report with respect to any audit engagement whereby, let's say, any significant judgment is there and the same has been reviewed by engagement quality control reviewer, right? So the report should be issued once the significant judgments are reviewed by the engagement quality control reviewer. So see, what is the purpose of appointing the engagement quality control reviewer? So let's say in case of listed company, if any report is to be given, the report of the audit report is to be given. Before that, the engagement quality control reviewer, he is going to review all the significant judgments and he will see whether these appear to be correct or not. Once he has given his comments, once everything has been reviewed, then only the audit report will be issued. Otherwise, what is the point of appointing him if the report is issued and thereafter he is conducting the review, right? So are you able to understand that before the report is issued, the engagement quality control reviewer will be, reviewing the significant judgments. And with respect to what all companies engagement quality control view is necessary, it is mandatory for audit of all listed financial statements of listed entities. And with respect to other engagement, it depends upon the firm. The firm will devise the criteria as to like the way we have voluntary audit for the client decides now whether they'll get the audit done or not. Mandatory is there, but voluntary. Same way here, listed for conducting the audit of financial statement of listed entities, mandatory engagement quality control review is there. But with respect to others, the audit firm will decide the criteria, right? And in case of difference of opinion, let's say within the engagement team or those consulted, if any consultation is taken, or engagement partner or engagement quality control reviewer. So whatever you have studied here, so if there is any difference of opinion, then the same should be resolved and report should be issued only after the resolution, right? Let's say the recommendation of the engagement quality control reviewer is not accepted by the engagement partner, right? So the report should not be issued unless and until the matter is resolved, right? Then with respect to the engagement performance, what all can come? The assembly of the final audit file. So you all have done chapter number 6 with respect to audit documentation. My first question to you relating to that, tell me what is the relevant essay number? Quickly tell me. What is the relevant essay number? Quickly. No answers. Why? Chapter number 6 you all have done. Shamli, correct. It is essay 230, audit documentation. So see, when we are saying that the quality should be there with respect to engagement performance, so the assembly of the audit file, the period of retention, and your engagement documentation as to it is whose property, whether the auditor can share it with the management or not. So all these points will also come with respect to engagement performance. And I'm assuming that you have already understood all these points in chapter number 6, but still we will just quickly look at uh, how these are referred in SQC 1. So what is this topic? We are talking about what? We are understanding the fifth point with respect to elements of system of quality control, which is engagement performance. And I was saying that the engagement performance, if we concentrate on how the assembly of the audit file is done, how the documentation is retained, right? And it is whose property, whether it is been maintained confidential or not, whether it is retained for a period no shorter than 7 years from the date of audit report, right? If you remember, you all have done this. So the firm should establish what policies and procedures relating to that also. Okay. So abhi it may be appearing, that yes, a number of points are there in engagement performance, but I assure you that the next revision or the next discussion that we are going to have with respect to engagement performance, all your you know curiosity as to how to learn this is going to be clear. So let me just have a look at your queries. So Pooja is saying SA 230, which is correct. Shamli is saying SA 230, which is correct. Okay. So we will just summarize this fifth point, engagement performance. So it basically says that there are various aspects of engagement performance, and in order to maintain the quality, the firm should establish the policies and procedures with respect to the various elements of engagement performance. So what are those? Just keep in mind that when you are actually performing the audit, what all things will come to your mind? Whether the team is briefed as to what objectives are there, what processes are to be complied with, what methods, what documentation are there. Consultation, if any, whether that has been taken. Any of the significant judgments reviewed by engagement quality control reviewer. And then with respect to engagement quality control reviewer, a lot of, let's say, points are there. Then apart from this, what all is there? Assembly of audit file, documentation, the custody or whether it is the property of the auditor or not, that topic, and then retention. That's it. Okay. So let us see. So with respect to engagement performance, the team should be briefed. Engagement team should be briefed about the objectives, the processes, that whether they are required to comply with the engagement standards, how the supervision training of the engagement will be done, right? The methods of reviewing the work performed, the documentation of work performed, right? Then consultation, special expertise required, difficult contentious matters, in discussion within the firm, outside the firm. Clear? Then significant judgments, the same should be reviewed by the engagement quality control reviewer, and report should not be issued before his review. Okay? It is mandatory with respect to audit of financial statements of listed entities, and with respect to others, the audit firm will devise the criteria. In case of difference of opinion, with whom? Whatever we have discussed, engagement team, engagement partner, the if any consultation is taken, or the engagement quality control reviewer, right? So report will be issued only after such issue has been resolved, right? And if the matter is not resolved, let's say that engagement partner is saying, I'll not accept, according to me this should be done, but engagement quality control reviewer is saying that should be done. So in that case, whatever is the firm's established policies and procedures, that should be followed, right? And then it says that the assembly of the audit file, this should be done for not more than after it should be done on the timely basis. That is, it should be finalized not more than 60 days after the date of audit report. Then the retention should be no shorter than 7 years from the date of the audit report, or if later, date of the group auditor report. And then policies and procedures should be there with respect to confidentiality of the documentation. It should be in the safe custody of the audit firm, and there should be system of accessibility, retrievability of the engagement documentation. See, quality also depends. Now, let's say you have done the audit and you're not maintaining the documentation, or the documentation is lost. So all these points, general points, okay? So now tell me whether you are able to, register in your minds as to what all points will come with respect to engagement performance. And in case you have any doubt, we can, just have a look at this point again quickly if it is required by any one of you. Quickly send in your replies. So this is the fifth point with respect to the system of elements of system of quality control. So students, I'm waiting for your reply, and then we'll be proceeding with the next point, which is what monitoring, which is a very uh, small point. So Aditi is saying clear, Archana saying clear, Shamli saying clear. Others also please reply. So students, my endeavor here is not only to make you understand, but also like not only to make you understand the concept, but also make you understand as to how to, prepare for your exams after understanding the concept. Because as I have told you in my first session with you that students often say that, ma'am, we are clear with the concept, everything was done, but when it comes to writing the paper, we are not able to do that, or we give general answers. So this should not happen, right? And the way to, focus on the keywords to prepare for the exam and to get good marks is really very, very easy. But yes, disciplined learning, your hard work, that is always required. Without that, nothing is possible. No, he's an outsider. Divya, he's an outsider. Okay, is it clear? Okay. Now, see, whatever policies and procedures we have studied with respect to the various elements of system of quality control, like your leadership responsibilities, ethical requirement, acceptance continuance, your human resources, and then engagement performance. So whatever policies and procedures are there with respect to all these elements, unless and until these policies and procedures are monitored, is the quality guaranteed? No. So let's say you have implemented a rule that, uh, let's say so and so thing will be done, but you are not checking whether it is actually done. So let's say I have given you a homework. I give you a homework all the time that you need to go through the module. I have told you, but I am not reviewing it. I'm not monitoring it whether you have actually gone through the module or not. Will you do that? Maybe answer is no. So that is why the monitoring of monitoring of whatever policies and procedures with respect to system of quality control is there, it should be done. Because it can happen that you have established a policies and procedure. Now it is not adequate. So whether the same has been updated or not, right? Whether the same is relevant or not, right? So whether the policies and procedures are relevant, adequate, whether these are operating effectively, whether these are compliant, right? And how this can be done? Only one point is there in this monitoring. How this can be done? It can be done in two ways. First can be what? As and when any audit is going on or any assignment is going on, what can be done is any person within the firm, he can conduct what? Ongoing consideration of ongoing consideration and evaluation of the firm system of quality control. What does that mean? That let's say any audit work is going on. So during that, you can check whether such policies and procedures are followed or not, right? And the other work can be, let's say, last 2 years, some audit work was completed. What the firm can do, they can just pick up the audit documentation of those completed assignments and they can just go through it, whether it was done properly or not. So it says ongoing consideration and evaluation or periodic inspection of selection of completed engagements. The engagements that have been completed, either what can be done, you just pick up the the audit documentation relating to those completed engagements. And because audit documentation is self-explanatory, a person having a knowledge of, all those procedures, they will be able to understand as to what audit procedures were performed, what was the conclusion and everything. So periodic inspection of selection of completed engagement or ongoing consideration and evaluation of the firm system of quality control. That is when any assignment is going on, you can see whether the policies and procedures are followed during that or not. Okay. So with this, we have completed SQC1, which is really very important. And based on SQC1 is what SC220, right? So basically what SQC1 says that so what is the line that is there in all these points? The firm should establish the policies and procedures to obtain reasonable assurance that, so if it is related to ethical requirements, whether the firm and personnel has complied with the ethical requirements. So whether it is related to human resources, whether the firm is having the human resources competent, all those points. Okay. So what are the 6 points with respect to elements of system of quality control? Leadership responsibilities for quality within the firm, ethical requirements, acceptance and continuance of client relationship and specific engagement, human resources, engagement performance, and monitoring. Tell me, is SQC1 clear to all of you? Quickly tell me, students. We need to cover up SC220 today. Along with that, the MCQ is given in your module, the case study given in your module. Quickly tell me. And apart from understanding how to prepare this for your exam, whether that is also clear. So just write second and your answer, because now this is my second question. So is that also clear to all of you? Okay. So yes, so Archana is saying clear, or Aditi is saying clear. So that's good. So students will do one thing here, that we will now take a break of 10 minutes here, and after the break we will start with essay 220. Okay. So a quick break of 10 minutes here. Okay. So students, welcome back after the break. And now we will be starting with essay 220. So I hope the 6 elements are clear, and I'm repeating again that you will see that these elements are same in when we'll be studying essay 220. Why? Because ultimately, why SQC1 is there, why essay 220 is there, the purpose is that there should be quality of the work, right? SQC1 says quality with respect to any kind of assignment and the responsibility on the firm. So when I say any kind of assignment, audit, review, any assurance or any service engagement, right? When we talk about SA 220, it says what? The name is quality control for an audit of financial statement. So student, just see why I concentrate a lot on the name of the standard, or let's say SQC1 or here SA 220, because a lot of concept is hidden in the name of the standard. So it says quality control for what? For an audit of financial statement. So here I'm clear because these are what standard on auditing. So this is not with respect to review work, but SQC1 is applicable with respect to review work also. So this is quality control for an audit of financial statements. Okay? And I've told you that here the focus will be on the responsibility of the engagement partner, the person who is going to sign that audit report, right? And one more word you are going to see in this essay 220 is particular audit engagement, because we are talking about particular audit engagements. SQC1 was what? Firm should establish policies and procedures so as to maintain the audit quality of the work performed by the firm. And this is with respect to the particular audit engagement. And I've told you in the last class that SA 220 is based on the premise that firm is subject to SQC1. When the firm is following the policies and procedures as required by SQC1, then these are the responsibilities of the engagement partner as per SA 220. Okay? So these policies and procedures will be there at the engagement letter for level for particular engagements. Why? Concept is going to be exactly the same what we have done in SQC1 to provide the auditor. So here we are not saying firm, to provide the auditor a reasonable assurance that the audit complies with professional standards, legal and regulatory requirements, and that the audit report issued is appropriate. Exactly the same. So the purpose is what? Two things. And in fact, these 2 points now, that the audit is complied with professional standards and legal and regulatory requirements, and that the audit report issued is appropriate. This is repeated in essay 220 again and again. So be smart learners, focus your energy in towards these lines. And I can see that in the break, some of you, in fact, 2 students have asked me to share the various tips, right? So as such, I may not get time at the end of the session to share some tips, but here I would like to add that focus your energy on the keywords that are used again and again. So when, let's say I'm checking a paper whereby question related to SQC1 is there. So I'll definitely get happy if I see the words that the firm established policies and procedure to obtain what reasonable assurance that the firm and the personnel complies with so and so requirements. So here, essay 220 mein your focus should be what? Engagement partner. Particular audit engagement, right? Then whether the audit complies with professional, legal, regulatory requirements and audit report issued is appropriate. Okay? And it is modeled on the lines of SQC1. Okay? So what all are the responsibilities? Now see, exactly the same. Leadership responsibilities for quality of on audit. Relevant ethical requirements. Acceptance and continuance of client relationship and audit engagement. Assignment of engagement team. Engagement performance and monitoring. So here, just except for human resources point, what is the name? Assignment of engagement team. Is it clear? Instead of writing human resources, because human resources is a function at a firm level. So what is the name? Assignment team. Okay. So the first point is what? Leadership responsibilities. And now I'm sure that you are in a position to write, to understand as to what will be there. So it basically says that the engagement partner is responsible for the overall quality. Engagement partner is responsible for overall quality, and his actions and his messages should emphasize that yes, quality is important. So it should not happen that let's say any article assistant comes to him, and she or he says that, sir, see, I'm not able to obtain this document. Should I accept this and just complete this particular checking of this particular item of the financial statement? So this should not happen. The engagement partner, by his actions and by the messages that he's conveying, he should emphasize that there is importance of quality in the audit. And he should emphasize that what all is important. He should emphasize that for maintaining the quality of the audit work, the team should comply with professional standards and legal regulatory requirements. The team should comply with the firm's quality control policies and procedures. The report issued should be appropriate in the circumstances, and the engagement partner should be able to raise the concern without fear of reprisals. What is meant by reprisal? It basically means that, let's say, any punishment is given. So let's say it should not happen that any article clerk enters the engagement partner came in with a discussion that, sir, see, I understand that so and so client is not giving this information. There is some, doubt with respect to integrity. It should not happen that the engagement partner says that you do not apply your mind and you do not do this work from now onwards. So fear of reprisal is fear of any punishment. Okay. So what is this point all about? It basically says that engagement partner is responsible for the overall quality, and his messages and actions should emphasize the importance of audit quality, the importance to audit with respect to quality of what? Performing the work that complies with professional standard and legal and regulatory requirement, complying with firm's quality control policies and procedure, issuing the audit report which is appropriate in the circumstances, and last but not the least, the engagement partner's ability to raise concerns without fear of reprisals. Okay. And now I would like to tell you here that if you remember, I told you that these 2 points are repeated again and again in your SC 220. So here you can see performing it along as per professional standards, legal regulatory requirement, and issuing the audit report which is appropriate in the circumstances. Okay. So be smart learners, right? Then the next point is with respect to relevant ethical requirements. So again, what all will come, whether any threat to independence are there or not. If yes, whether the same can be eliminated. If no, whether safeguards can be applied so as to reduce to an acceptable level, right? And let's say any threat is there, whether the same is communicated at the appropriate level to the firm. If you remember, promptly report, right? Why? So that whether elimination can be done, or if withdrawal is required, whether that can be done. I hope this point is clear. Is there a need for me to, explain this point in detail, point number second, because it is exactly the same of what you have done, and just apply your mind that there we were discussing about the responsibilities of the firm. Here we are discussing about the responsibility of the engagement partner with respect to a particular engagement. And ethical requirements are always the same. Okay? Is it clear? Okay. Then the third point is acceptance and continuance of client relationship and audit engagement. So it basically says that as is given in SQC1 on same lines, now we are discussing what? Responsibility of engagement partner. What all responsibility? If you remember, to obtain the information, vital information before accepting or before deciding whether to continue, and what the information: integrity of principal owners, competence, necessary capabilities, compliance with relevant ethical requirement. Exactly the same. How significant matters, how these were addressed, the implications. So this will assist the engagement partner in deciding whether to accept or continue the client relationship. Tell me, is this point also clear, or is there a need to, discuss this in detail? It is exactly the same. Though in SQC1, it is given in detail because it is given for the form, right? Here we are discussing about the role of the engagement partner. So let me just have a look at your queries. So should I proceed with the fourth point? Just send me your quick yes or no. Divya is saying yes, ma'am, clear. Archana saying yes, Aditi saying yes. Chalo, theek hai. Then the fourth one was what? There it was human resources. So apply your minds. Here it will not be human resources, right? So what will it be? Here it will be assignment of engagement team. Okay. So again, the engagement partner should ensure that if the engagement team that is conducting the audit, and if any expert service has been taken, that is, auditor has hired any expert. I gave you example of insurance company, actuarial services. Okay. Then in that case, the competency, the capability should be such that, again, what same line, the firm should be able to perform the audit engagement as per professional standards and legal and regulatory requirement. As simple as that. Okay. So here, if we just discuss what are the keywords, now you know that it is related to responsibility of engagement partner, that the team and the auditor's expert, they should have appropriate competency capabilities. Let us just have a look at to this point from your module. Just give me a minute. So this is point number. So why I am taking you through the module, so that you are able to, understand as to how to use your module also, because students have a tendency of ignoring the module, which is really not acceptable so far as your paper number 5. Like, I'm particularly talking about this paper number 5 is concerned. Okay. So assignment of engagement team, it should be ensured by engagement partner, that the engagement team and any auditor's expert who are not part of the engagement team. That is why they are mentioned separately. Na? Otherwise, so they would have been included in engagement team. Collectively have the appropriate competence and capabilities. Just a minute. Appropriate competence and capability to perform, so that these are the engagement is performed as per the professional standards, regulatory and legal requirements. And just have a look how I have summarized it like this. Okay, is it clear? Is the fourth point also clear? Quickly tell me. So as per legal and regulatory requirement, Anil, with that, I want to say that, let's say the audit firm is conducting the audit of the client organization, where CARO reporting is also required by the Companies Act. So whether that reporting has also been done. Professional standards mean you can take example of your standards on auditing. Legal and regulatory requirements. Some further, Schedule 3 requires that so and so disclosures are to be made. With respect to that, under CARO, certain reporting is required. So whether that is done or not. In standards on auditing, as such, CARO reporting is not there, na? But under the Companies Act, it is required. So whether that is done or not. So whose doubt was it? Anil, is it clear? So in what all areas, Anil is saying, in what all areas we can hire experts. So I gave you the example of an insurance company, right? So there, let's say actuarial services are used in order to calculate. Actuarial services are used by the client organization in order to calculate, let's say, the present value of what all claims can be there, right? So in that case, the auditor may also hire their expert. Another example can be, let's say any construction company is there. Now, as an auditor, I don't know now what is the percentage of completion of this construction project. So I may hire a real estate related any expert. Or let's say any company is there in states of Sikkim, right? And certain environmental related taxes are there, which as such, I, as an auditor, I'm not aware. So I may hire any expert relating to that field, right? Are you able to understand? Anil, is this doubt clear? So there can be any areas other than auditing and your accounting, wherever the auditor requires any expertise, specialized expertise, he can use that, right? Then is engagement performance. And see, this point is somewhat different of what you have done in SQC1, right? Though on the same lines, here also we'll be discussing about significant matters. Here also we'll be discussing about the engagement quality control reviewer. But here, one more point will be there. I always call it as DSR, direction, supervision, and review. So any audit engagement, the work that has been done, that is always directed, supervised, and the work is reviewed by the engagement partner. So that is why more focus is there in this part on the responsibility of the engagement partner with respect to DSR of the audit engagement, right? So engagement partner has the responsibility to direct, supervise, and review. And I'm repeating it again. You are not required to write these short form. These are just for your quick revision, quick learning, all that. Okay. So engagement partner has the responsibility for direction, supervision, and review of the audit engagement in accordance with the professional standards, legal and regulatory requirements. See, wherever I'm highlighting in pink, this is that line which I told you at the very beginning. I'll show it to you again. That this line is used a number of times. This. Okay. So that is why I am highlighting it in order to tell you that please concentrate your energies towards learning the points that are repeated again and again. Others also you are required to learn, but be smart learners. Okay. So, and then report is appropriate. Same point. Okay. Then they are going to review what? They are going to review the audit documentation. And see, here it says that first and foremost, he'll do the DSR. Then he'll review the audit documentation. He'll see whether the audit evidence is sufficient and appropriate or not. Wherever consultation is required, whether that has been taken or not. In case of listed companies, whether the engagement quality control reviewer has been appointed, whether the significant matters had been discussed with him, and in case of any issue, the same should be resolved, and then only the report should be issued. In case of difference of opinion, whatever policies and procedures of the firm are there with respect to dealing and resolving such differences, whether that has been followed or not. So easy, based on lines of SQC1 only, but with certain difference. Why? Because in engagement partner performance, one important point that comes is with respect to the direction, supervision, review, plus review of audit documentation, and to see whether the audit evidence obtained is sufficient and appropriate. So sufficient, appropriate audit evidence, right? And then the same point relating to the engagement quality control reviewer. Is it clear? Is it clear? And then the last point, which is with respect to your monitoring. And yes, certain different point with respect to this monitoring also. So what is this point? Let us discuss this. So it says that, see, whatever policies and procedures are there, which has been established. So the monitoring will be done by the engagement partner with respect to the particular engagements. Okay? So engagement partner will also document whether any issues were identified with respect to compliance with relevant ethical requirements and how they were resolved. Right? Further, the conclusions with respect to independence requirements and the discussions and the documentation of those. The conclusions with respect to acceptance and continuance of client relationship, the documentation relating to that, plus any consultations that has been taken, the documentation relating to that, right? So let me just take you through the module for explaining this point. So we are on the last point, that is, so it basically says that an effective system of monetary control, it requires what? A system of quality control, it requires what? A monitoring process. Why? Because it will give you it will provide the firm with the reasonable assurance that whatever policies or procedures are there with respect to quality control, these are what your operating effectively, relevant, adequate, exactly the same as we have done, right? Now, with a little bit change, what? That the engagement partner is going to document the following. What are those? So, any issues which are identified with respect to compliance with relevant ethical requirements. Conclusions that has been reached, significant conclusions with respect to the independence requirements. Okay, so these two, you can say that these are with respect to your ethical requirements only, the first 2 points. Then acceptance and continuance of client relationship. And last but not the least, where any consultation has been taken. So basically, whatever we have done earlier in the earlier points, you will see that here it says that in the monitoring process, the auditor is required to, the auditor is required to maintain a documentation of all that only after monitoring all such process. Okay. So, my dear students, with this, we have completed essay 220 also. So, before, going into the query session, let us just discuss this test your understanding 9. Quickly go through it once so that we can discuss. Test your understanding 9. I need answers from all of you. Quickly. I'll wait for a minute. Meanwhile, go through this. So have you all gone through? Have you all gone through test your understanding 9? So it says that CAPK Nair is offered appointment as auditor of a company engaged in providing tourism services. While making due diligence of the proposed client, he comes to know that there have been raids on premises of the company and residences of its director by the National Investigation Agency on suspicion of links with terror outfits. It has been followed up with searches by Enforcement Directorate hunting for illicit money trail. There is a strong suspicion of tourism services provided by the company being facade of terror funds. Should proposed offer be accepted by him? Tell me. So basically, what we are understanding here is acceptance and continuance of the client relationship. Okay? So just read it again if you want and then tell me. So Shamli is correct. Adil is correct. Yes, Pooja is correct. Aditi correct. Sham Sundar correct. Divya correct. Others also please reply. So see here it says what? That see what is it talking about? It is talking about the reputation of the client organization, the integrity of the client, which is not up to the mark. So in this case, the client should not accept the assignment. So what we can do is we can just have a look at how the answer is given at the end of this chapter. So it says that integrity of the principal owners has to be considered before accepting an engagement in accordance with SA 220. In this regard, SA 220 states requirements on lines with SQC 1. SQC 1 clearly says that in cases where there are indications that the client might be involved in money laundering or other criminal activities, appointment should not be accepted. And in the instance case, there has been raids by the National Investigation Agency on suspected links. Therefore, the proposed offer should not be accepted. So we are here giving the entire reason as to why it should not be accepted. And here we have also given reference to SA 220 and SQC 1. I hope it is clear to everyone. Okay. Now go through test your understanding 10, which is on page number 11.35. CA Arpita has joined a mid-sized CA firm recently. She finds that partners remain too busy and firm is proposing to accept audit work in areas in which it has no experience or capabilities. The firm is proposing to accept audit of some entities engaged in emerging fintech sector. Such audit may be requiring extensive use of technology and data analytics. However, the said firm had no such capabilities and trained personnel. Discuss whether firm should accept such audits with reason. So just tell me your answer yes or no, and also which system of quality control is been referred here. And it says whether the firm should accept. So clear indication that we are talking about SQC 1. Okay? So reference to SQC 1 will come here because firm responsibility is discussed in SQC 1. Engagement partner is discussed in SA 220. Okay? So tell me, I'm waiting for your replies. I can see that Aditi is saying no, ma'am. It should not accept. Adil has absolutely mentioned it correctly that the human resources. Aditi has said SQC 1 correct. And then Archana said firm should not accept audit because firm does not have the proper human resources. Correct. Okay. So let firm should not accept. Virala is saying firm should not accept such audit as it does not have the experience in the fintech sector SQC 1. Okay, Divya correct. Absolutely correct, students. But let us just see how the answer is given at the end. So it says that SQC 1. So I told you that since the question here specifically says whether the firm, so that is why a reference, just a minute, that is why a reference to SQC 1. So SQC 1 requires that before accepting or competence, before accepting an engagement, competence to perform engagement have to be considered. In the given case, the proposed engagements involve use of technology. The firm is having no prior experience. The firm is not having the trained personnel to carry out this. Hence, offer for these audits should not be accepted. Okay? And you have all have answered it correctly that the point is with respect to human resources. Okay? Is it clear? Now, let us just quickly go through the case study. Quickly, the case study that is given on page number 11.35 of your module. Please quickly go through it. So it says that Das and Company, a firm of auditors, is offered appointment as auditor of a company, a prospective new client. CA Sukanya, one of the partners, is dealing with the new client. While meeting with officers of the company, she comes to know that Sushant, CFO of the company, was her classmate. In fact, both of them had started CA together. However, Sushant has left CA midway due to repeated failures and tried his luck to pursue MBA from one of the leading institutions. During initial discussions, it transpires that company is going to launch new services in the field of weather forecasting. Such services would be available on website of company, and micro weather information would be available on payment of charges. The company requests audit firm to be visibly associated with their marketing blitz. Assume that the firm chooses to accept the offer and writes to previous auditor, Walker and Company, to advise whether there exist any professional reasons for them not to accept the proposed offer. However, Walker and Company do not reply for the request of Das and Company. During preliminary discussions, it also became known that the said company has acquired all shares of another company. Under the relevant provisions of law, financial statements of both companies needed to be consolidated and audited. Despite this knowledge, Das and Company failed to advise their client regarding audit of consolidated financial statements. The company also offers auditors contract for providing IT services pertaining to information system of the company. So students, as I was reading the question, I could relate it to the topics that are there in this chapter, that okay, with respect to this paragraph, a question relating to this topic must be there. With respect to the other paragraph, a question relating to this topic must be there. Quickly tell me, were you all also able to correlate? Quickly just tell me. Because then this shows that yes, you are, reading this module. Because unless and until you are reading this module, the topics are not registered in your mind. But once the topics are registered, like today we discussed SQC1. So now if you have registered in your mind that leadership responsibilities were with respect to 3 points: firm, ultimate responsibility, persons with operational responsibilities, I'm 100% sure you are going to write the correct answer in your exam. Hana? So try to, uh, imagine as to where this particular question can be related to in the entire chapter. Okay? So yes, Adil, absolutely correct. Whatever. So Adil has drafted a question also, and he has given an answer also with respect to a particular paragraph, which is really very good. This shows that you have actually, you are aware as to what you have read in this chapter in the earlier sessions. So many of you are saying yes, we are able to connect that. That means you are good students and you are actually going through the module. So the first question, it says, and students, as many of you were saying, ma'am, please share tips. So I'll share one tip here before discussing the MCQ. So I always tell my students that whenever you are attempting to any MCQ, please read what is required in the question very carefully. So let's say in this question, it says that considering discussion about Sukanya and Sushant, which of the following statements seems to be most appropriate? And the question could have been, which of the following statement seems least appropriate? So when the term most, if you read it as least, because we as students, we like students have a tendency to read the question very quickly and then devote their time towards reading the options. But no, you should read the question also carefully. So it is saying most appropriate. It is not asking you for least appropriate. Okay? So be careful whenever you are reading the MCQs, and whenever any MCQ comes, just try to, relate it to the chapter from which it is asked. Then go to that specific topic and then analyze the situation. And that is possible only if you have gone through the module in entirety once or twice, unless and until you are aware about the particular topic that is given. So in today's session, I asked you that tell me where is audit documentation given. So many of you has quickly answered that chapter number 6 and the relevant essay number, essay 230, you told me. So that means the students who have told me, they are actually going through the module. Okay? Same way, try to register the entire module in your mind that, okay, this is the basic format of the module, the chapters. ठीक है, these are the various topics. So considering discussion about Sukanya and Sushant, which of the following statement seems most appropriate? And here, while solving the answer, I would like all of you to please apply principle based approach, not rule based approach. Now, what is principle based approach and rule based approach? I hope you are clear. So basically, try to concentrate on an energy as to what is the intent of that law, why the particular law has been created. Okay. So let me just see your answers. Shamli, Virlai, Adil, Divya, Kuldeep, absolutely correct. And I'm hoping that you are not looking at the answers given at the back. So it says that the above, so basically it says that they know each other. And what is the question? Let us just see. The first paragraph says that they were classmates and then they started their CA together, and then one of them becomes what, the CEO of the company, CFO of the company, and the other is the auditor. So this is the situation, right? So whether which is most appropriate. So it says that the above discussion is irrelevant in the context of proposed offer. The second point says the proposed offer should be accepted by firm. The engagement team may be headed by CA Sukanya for better coordination and results. C is the proposed offer should be accepted by firm. The engagement team may be headed by the different partner of the firm. And the last point is the matter is too trivial to be reported by CA Sukanya to others partners of the firm. See, independence should be there. That is, your opinion is not subordinate to the wishes of the person who might have engaged you. So Sukanya's decision should not be subordinate to the wishes of Mr. Sushant, who is the CFO of the company, right? Now, since they know each other, so chances are there that there can be what? Some influences. But the impact is not such high that the company should, the audit firm should what? Reject the offer. So the above discussion is irrelevant. This point is not correct. The proposed offer should be accepted. The engagement team may be headed by CA Sukanya for better coordination and results. So if you look at the intent, why independence requirement is there, so that is not met here. So second point is also not correct. Let us read the D point. The matter is too trivial, too small, too insignificant to be reported by CA Sukanya to other partners to firm. This is also not the correct option. Why? Because influence can be there, right? Then the C point says the proposed offer should be accepted by firm. The engagement team may be headed by a different partner of the firm. So see, it says what is the most appropriate. So out of all these four, the most appropriate appears to be what? The C point. Is it clear? Is it clear? Tell me. So Archana, correct. Pooja, Adil, Divya, Shamli, Virlay, Kuldeep, correct. Okay, now let us go through the second point. Keeping in view request of the company to be visibly associated with the company's new services, identify which type of threat is being faced by the audit firm. Is it self-interest threat, familiarity threat, self-review threat, or advocacy threat? So the company is asking you to get associated in case of any promotion, na? So it is what you are basically promoting the company, and this comes under what? Advocacy threat. Self-interest threat is not there. Familiarity threat is not there. Self-review threat, not there. So what is the correct answer? Advocacy threat. That you are promoting the client's interest. Okay. Let me just have a look who all have answered it correctly. Archana, Divya, Adil, Shamli, absolutely correct. Others also please reply. Pooja, correct. Virlay, Kuldeep, absolutely correct. So I can see that the number of participants are more, but the answers are very less. So please send in your reply. Lakshmi, Priya, Sham Sundar. Please participate, students. Balam, Anil, please participate. Now go through the third question. The previous auditors, Walker and Company, have not replied to communication of Das and Company Which fundamental principle of professional ethics is not followed by them? So the previous auditor, the predecessor auditors, they have not replied when they are asked by the current auditor to reply. So what is it? Is it an objectivity failure? No. Is it something lacking on professional behavior? Yes. So the answer is what? B. But let us see the other two options. Professional competence and due care? No. Integrity, honesty? No. So the answer is what? Your B, professional behavior. So let me just have a look at the answers that you have given. Archana, Pooja, Adil, Shamli, Virlai, Sham Sundar, correct. Divya, Balam, Kuldeep, absolutely correct. Archana, Anil, correct. Okay, now the fourth one. Das and company have failed to advise the company regarding audit of consolidated financial statement. Which fundamental principle of professional ethics is violated by Das and company? Is it professional behavior? Is it integrity? Is it objectivity? Is it professional competence and due care? So quickly just read it again and tell me the answers. So I hope now you are able to relate the particular question with the particular topic and you are able to answer it correctly, because I can see that many of you, in fact, all of you, almost all of you have answered given the correct answers. So with respect to fourth, Shamli, Virlai, Kuldeep, Archana, Adil, Sham Sundar, Pooja, correct. Divya, correct. Anil, also correct. So let us just discuss this fourth. It says that Das and company have failed to advise the company regarding audit of consolidated financial statements. So something is required to be done which the audit firm is aware of. Okay? But they failed to, advise this to the company. So integrity is what? Honesty, which is not there. Objectivity is what? That you are giving the opinion without any influence, which is not there. Professional competence and due care, and then professional behavior. So professional behavior is what? That which brings discredits, which is not there. But what is the answer? Professional competence and due care, right? Is it clear? Because you are not diligent when you are giving the opinion. You have ignored that fact. Is it clear? The fifth question, last. Which of the following statement, again read it properly. It says most appropriate regarding providing offer of work of IT services by auditors to the company. So let us just read the relevant paragraph. Lastly, it says that in the last paragraph, it is mentioned that the company also offers auditors contract for providing ID services pertaining to information system of the company. And students, information system of the company means accounting and everything is there. So what is the question? Which of the following statement is most appropriate regarding providing offer of work of IT services by auditors of the company? A, such offer may create a self-review threat. Such offer may create an advocacy threat. Such offer does not constitute any threat. Such offer may create self-review and advocacy threat. So let us start from reading point number D. Will it create self-review? Yes, self-review can be there, but advocacy is the company promoting the client organization? No. So this answer is not correct. D point is not correct. C point says such offer does not constitute any threat, which is not the case because some kind of threat is there. Such offer may create advocacy threat. Again, there is no promotion of the client organization. The A point says such offer may create a self-review threat. Why? Because if the company, the audit firm is itself creating the IT system relating to accounting and then it itself review, it is itself examining it, then it can lead to what? Self-review threat. So let me just have a look as to what whether you have answered it correctly, who all have answered it correctly. So I can see Virlai, Archana, Kuldeep, then Pooja, Shamli, Adil. Yes, Anil, correct. So all of you have answered the question correctly. Now let us just quickly have a look at the MCQ that is given here. Page number 11.39. So the case study that we have just discussed, This is basically based on practical situation, practical audit situations, right? But here now, when we are discussing these MCQ based questions, these are basically to test your conceptual understanding, whereby these are basically theory based. Okay. So again, just read, identify the most appropriate statement. So essay 220 applies at the level of firm. See, this is not incorrect, right? But this is incorrect as such, but we have to see what the most appropriate one, right? SQC1 is premised on the basis that firm is subject to SA 220. SA 220 is premised on the basis that the firm is subject to SQC1. SA 220 applies to all the engagements. So tell me which is the correct option, most appropriate. So I can see that with respect to this, I am getting different answers. Okay, I can see that there is confusion between B and C. So I'll request all of you to read the question carefully and then answer it again. Because abhi tak, till now, I was getting correct answers from all of you. But here I can see two options that are given by you as answers. So it says identify the most appropriate. So essay 220 applies at the level of firm? No, it applies to the engagement, particular audit engagement. So this is not correct. SQC1 is premised on the basis that the firm is subject to SA 220? No. Why? Because the vice versa is correct. So that means the C statement, that is SA 220 is premised on the basis that firm is subject to SQC1. This option C is correct. The D option, SA 220 applies to all engagement. This is also not correct because SA 220 is basically with respect to particular audit engagements, and that too only the audit engagements, not review and all. Okay, is it clear? So for all those who were saying B, please note that the answer with respect to question number 1 is C. So let me just see whether, so whoever has answered it as B, please correct your answers and rewrite it in the chat box so that I'm able to understand whether it is clear to you all or not. Correct. Now the next point, professional skepticism includes overlooking unusual circumstances, using inappropriate assumptions in determining extent of audit procedures, overgeneralizing when drawing conclusions from audit observations, being vigilant to conditions that might indicate possibilities of fraud. Quickly give your answers. Divya, Virlay, Shamli, Archana, Balam, Kuldeep, correct. Okay. So see students, the first 3 points, if you remember, we have earlier read these lines, but where have we read these lines? The topic where these points were included, point number A, B, C. The topic was that if professional skepticism is not there, then what could happen? Then there could be overlooking of unusual circumstances. Then there could be use of inappropriate assumptions. Then there could be what? Overgeneralizing, right? So professional skepticism helps to reduce the risk of all these 3 things. But yes, if professional skepticism is there, it means, or it includes, that you are being careful. Vigilant means you are careful to the conditions that might indicate possibilities of fraud. Okay? So I can see that all of you has answered it correctly. So the answer is point D. Is it clear? Correct. Okay. Now the third one. Which of the following is not a fundamental principle governing professional ethics? Very simple. I need all of you to reply correctly for this at least. And why should I say like this? You are answering, you are giving correct answers for other questions also. Yes, everyone is correct. So professional competence and due care is yes. So, and here also, please do not read the question in a hurry that which of the following is a fundamental principle. It says that which of the following is not a fundamental principle. So professional competence and due care, yes. Integrity, yes. Objectivity, yes. But safeguards to independence, no, it is not the fundamental principle. So the answer is D. Fourth question. Which of the following is not necessary to establish preconditions of for an audit? Quickly send me the relevant essay number. Quickly. Just the number for preconditions of audit. Shamli, correct. Archana, correct. Pooja, Adil, absolutely correct. Virlay, Divya, that's good. Students, really very appreciable that you remember the name. Anil, correct. Okay. Now, read the question. Which of the following is not necessary to establish preconditions for an audit? Acceptability of the financial reporting framework. Let's see. Acknowledgement of cooperation from management in designing audit procedures. Acknowledgement from management of providing access to persons within the company. Acknowledgement of management in understanding its responsibility for preparation of financial statement. See, whenever preconditions are there, then in that case, there is what? The acceptability of the FRF that is there. The acknowledgement by the management that it will provide access to the persons within the company, that is also there. The acknowledgement by the management that it understands its responsibility for preparation of financial statement and implementation of internal control, that is also there, right? What is the point that is not included? Acknowledgement of cooperation from management in designing audit procedures. See, designing of audit procedure is the work of the auditor, not the management, right? So no such acknowledgement is required as a precondition, and in fact it is not required. Why? Because it is the responsibility of the auditor. So the answer is what? B. But here let us just quickly revise as to what are the preconditions applicable FRF. Management acknowledges and understands its responsibility for preparation of financial statement as per applicable FRF, implementation of internal control, providing access to all the information, additional information, unrestricted access to persons within the entity. Students, this is the way how the topic you should remember. So Abhi, I have just told you the keywords that for preconditions for an audit, SA 210, agreeing to the terms of audit engagement, this should come. And the points that I have just mentioned, this should come. Then the language can be yours. Okay, are you able to understand? The last question, identify the most appropriate statement in context of SQC1. So let me just have a look at your replies. So for point number 4, I can see. For point number 4, Anil, check your answer. Anil, if you have any doubt, please ask me. Send it in the chat box. Now, the fifth one, which is the most appropriate statement. So first point says A, assembly of engagement files should be completed in not more than 60 days after the date of auditor's report in case of audit engagement. B, engagement file should be completed before date of auditor's report in case of audit engagement. Absolutely wrong. Before audit engagement is completed, how can the auditor date the audit report? That is, how can he just sign it? So B is not correct. Engagement file should be completed in not more than 60 days after the completion of engagement. No. Engagement file should be completed on date on which audit report is signed in case of audit engagements. No. So with respect to the assembly of engagement files, what is the requirement by SQC1 that it should be completed in not more than 60 days after the date of the auditor's report. not completion of audit engagement, after the date of the auditor's report in case of audit engagement, which is point number, the choice number A. And I can see that Virli, Shamli, you are absolutely correct. So Anil has a doubt with respect to fourth question. I'll just take up your doubt, Anil. Tell me, students, is the fifth question clear to everyone? So I can see that with respect to fifth question, Adil, Pooja, Divya, Archana, Kuldeep, absolutely correct. So for the fourth question, Anil is saying, ma'am, reporting is not management duty. See, this is not, see, the fourth question says, which of the following is not necessary to establish preconditions? This first point, A point, says acceptability of financial reporting framework. See, preparation of financial statement as per the applicable FRF is the responsibility of the management. Okay? It is the responsibility of the management. So, it is one of the preconditions. C point, acknowledgement from management of providing the access to persons within the company. So, providing the information to the auditor is the responsibility of the management. So, it is one of the preconditions. And the last point, that auditor, the management understands that it has the responsibility of preparing the financial statement. So, it is again one of the precondition. But management and acknowledging that it will help the auditor in designing the audit procedure, it is nowhere required in preconditions, because designing the audit procedure is the responsibility of the auditor. It is not the responsibility of the company. But preparing the financial statement as per acceptable FRF, whether the financial reporting framework that is used in preparation of financial statement, whether that is acceptable or not, it is the responsibility of the management. So that is why it is one of the preconditions. Anil, is it clear now? Quickly tell me. Yes. Clear, Anil? So this is the responsibility of the management. So it becomes one of the preconditions. Okay? So what we can do here is, many of you are saying that, ma'am, please just give a quick revision. So I'm left with just 4-5 minutes. I'll take you through the my notes. And yes, I'll students, I'll upload these. But again, I'll request you that please don't cram, or don't try to mug up my notes. The short forms that I have written, you will get confused if you write the same for your purpose. If you are able to understand, then it is fine. Otherwise, just take advantage from, just take, an understanding from these notes as to how to prepare the notes, and try to prepare them in your own language. Okay? So see this chapter number 11, which is the last chapter, ethics and terms of audit engagement. So in this, we have studied what ethics are, need for professional ethics in the accountancy profession. And thereafter, we studied the various kinds of fundamental requirements. What are the fundamental requirements? Your integrity, objectivity, competence, professional competence, due care, remember? Then professional behavior, confidentiality, right? Integrity, I think I have repeated any one. Let us just, professional behavior, professional competence, due care, confidentiality, objectivity, and integrity. Then we did the topic of threats, and whereby we have studied about 5 threats, how the safeguards can be applied. Then we studied about essay 210, agreeing to the terms of audit engagement, followed by a discussion of SQC1, quality control, and then essay 220. Okay? And we have discussed the various MCQs, the MCQs that students I have discussed with you in the last 2 sessions. That also I'll upload, right? And in case you have any query relating to this chapter, you can always forward it to me, right? Now, students, for today's session, since this is the last session to conclude, so we have with us CA Rajiv Sachdeva sir from Board of Studies Academics ICAI, and now he'll be giving you valuable insights. So over to you, sir. Welcome, sir.
Thank you, Nancy. Thank you. Thank you very much. Yes, students, very good evening to each one of you. And students, I give you compliment for it that you attended the sessions organized by BOS. Students, this is the first step you have taken कि आपने क्लासेस को ज्वाइन किया. आपने इतने अच्छे टीचर्स से आपने ऑडिटिंग सीखी, तो ये आपके लिए एक, मैं कहूँगा कि आपके लिए एक बहुत ही सौभाग्य की बात है. क्योंकि स्टूडेंट्स क्या है कि आप अगर इंस्टीट्यूट का स्टडी मटेरियल रेफर करते हैं, पढ़ते हैं उसे अच्छी तरह से, और इंस्टीट्यूट की क्लासेस अटेंड करते हैं, तो ये अपने आप में एक बहुत बड़ी अचीवमेंट है. आप इसी जर्नी को आगे बढ़ाइएगा. और स्टूडेंट्स, अभी आप जो आपका एग्जामिनेशन का टाइम है, अभी आपने जो क्लासेस अटेंड किए, इनको आपने अच्छी तरह से, जो भी आपने अपने टीचर से पढ़ा है, उसको आपने अच्छी तरह से रिलीजियसली उसको स्टडी करना है. उसको आपने पूरा टाइम डिवोट करके स्टडी करना है. स्टूडेंट्स, मैं एक ही आपको एडवाइस दूंगा जो बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है, वो ये है कि आपने स्टडी करते हुए कभी जल्दी नहीं करनी. नेवर बी इन हरी कि मैं जल्दी से कोई चैप्टर कर लूं, मैं जल्दी में कुछ नहीं होगा. तो आप उसको अच्छे से अपने माइंड में चीजों को सेटल हो जाने दो. और जब चीजें इस्टेब्लिश हो जाती हैं आपके माइंड में, लाइक मैं कहता हूं, हमेशा एग्जांपल देता हूं मैं स्टूडेंट्स को, नैन्सी को भी मालूम है कि मैं कहता हूं कि एबीसी आपके माइंड में कितनी अच्छी तरह से टिकी हुई है. आज आपने पिछले 10 सालों में भी रिवाइज नहीं की, 15 सालों में भी रिवाइज नहीं की, स्टिल आप एबीसी इतने फ्लो में, 1 2 3 इतने फ्लो में. क्यों? क्योंकि डेली टीचर ने आगे ए, कितने दिनों तक उसने ए आपको सिखाया, फिर बी सिखाया, फिर सी. तो अब हम भूल जाते हैं आके. हमने 4th 5th तक वो काम जारी रखे थे, क्योंकि 4th 5th में अगर आप देखो तो आपकी लर्निंग पावर बहुत स्ट्रांग थी. 5th 6th 7th 8th ओवर ए पीरियड. अब सीए में आके हम क्या करते हैं, जल्दी में आ जाते हैं एकदम. तो आपने जल्दी नहीं करनी स्टूडेंट्स. स्टडी के साथ कभी भी जल्दी नहीं करनी चाहिए. और बीओएस हमेशा आपके साथ है. मैं स्टूडेंट्स को अपना मोबाइल नंबर भी शेयर, इवन इफ अभी क्लासेस खत्म हो जाएंगी, स्टिल आपको कभी भी कोई डाउट होगा तो आप मेरे को डायरेक्ट आप कॉल कर सकते हो, और मैं आपकी कोई भी प्रॉब्लम होगी स्टूडेंट्स ऑडिटिंग से रिलेटेड, तो मैं आपकी सॉल्व करूंगा अच्छे तरीके से. आपको कोई भी डाउट हो, स्टडी कैसे करनी है, ऑडिटिंग में अच्छे मार्क्स कैसे लेने हैं, कैसे पढ़ना है, एनी क्वेश्चन, आपको कोई डाउट आ रहा है, हालांकि आपके टीचर्स ने आपको अच्छी तरह सारी चीजें समझाई हैं, मुझे मालूम है, लेकिन फिर भी आपको कोई डाउट्स आते हैं, तो आप इमीडिएटली मुझे फोन कर सकते हैं. व्हाट्सएप कई बार मेरे से मिस हो जाते हैं, लेकिन मैं स्टूडेंट्स की अपने कॉल हमेशा उठाता हूं. और अगर उस समय मैं कॉल बाई चांस नहीं भी उठा पाया तो मैं कॉल बैक करता हूं. तो स्टूडेंट्स, आप मेरा मोबाइल नंबर सेव कर लो, 9466789298. 9466789298. नैन्सी, आप भी रिपीट कर दो स्टूडेंट्स को.
Sir, I'll just write it, है ना?
Yes, yes, yes.
बताएंगे?
94
94
667
667
89298.
89298.
हाँ जी, सीए राजीव सचदेवा. स्टूडेंट्स, आप जस्ट फील फ्री, आप कभी भी मेरे से कोई भी गाइडेंस ले सकते हैं, और आपके अच्छे मार्क्स आएंगे. बिलीव मी, आप एक बार मेरे कहने पे चल के देखो, स्लो स्टडी करो, चीजों को इस्टेब्लिश हो जाने दो. स्ट्रेटजीज आप मुझे फोन करके स्ट्रेटजी पूछ सकते हैं कि सर हमने कैसे आगे, बिकॉज आपने बहुत अच्छा काम तो ये कर लिया कि आपने क्लासेस अटेंड कर ली, आपने स्टडी मॉड्यूल से आपने स्टडी कर ली. अब आगे कैसे करना है, आप मेरे साथ फोन पे टच में रहो, और मैं आपको आगे की जो गाइडेंस है, अभी काम खत्म नहीं हुआ आपका, ये याद रखना. आपको आगे की गाइडेंस मैं पूरी दूंगा जब तक आपका एग्जाम नहीं हो जाता। सो विद दीज वर्ड स्टूडेंट्स, मैं आपको ऑल द बेस्ट कहता हूं कि आप अपने एग्जाम की तैयारी बहुत अच्छे से करो, और कोई भी डाउट्स हो, कोई भी कंफ्यूजन हो, तो आप हमेशा मुझे कॉल कर सकते हैं। और विद दीज वर्ड्स, थैंक यू वेरी मच। थैंक यू नैन्सी मैडम, एंड थैंक यू ईच वन ऑफ यू स्टूडेंट्स, जो आपने इतनी डेडिकेशन से, इतनी पेशेंटली आपने क्लासेस अटेंड की। मैं सबको कॉन्ग्रेचुलेट करता हूं, और सबको, सबके साथ मेरी विशेष है कि वो एग्जाम में बहुत अच्छे मार्क्स लेकर और अपनी सीए एग्जामिनेशन को क्वालिफाई करें। विद दीज वर्ड्स, थैंक यू वेरी मच स्टूडेंट्स, थैंक यू वेरी मच।
Thank you, sir, and all the very best to all the students. I'm sure that you all are going to pass your exams, and most particularly this paper number 5 with flying colors. All the very best, students. And thank you for being patient listeners and making my sessions interactive. Thank you and bye-bye.
राइट
Yes.
राइट।